Welcome back, everyone. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at date functions in SQL Server. I'm going to open up a brand new query window here, and I'm going to go over some of these date functions. Again, if you go under programmability, you notice there's a date and time function section, and these are what's available. If you expand any one, it tells you what parameters is expecting. The expression takes a date, time, and returns an integer in case of a day function, for instance. Let's take a look at some of these. The most straightforward one is to select get date, which returns basically today's date and time. What I can do is I can get some more specific stuff. So I can say, you know what, get the day portion of get date, which is today's date. So let's see what that does. Well, it says today is the 14th, and it is in fact the 14th of October. Let's actually do a select the month portion of get date. And this is going to return that it is month 10. Let's go ahead and do a select year portion of the get date. And this is going to return to us that is 2022, which is the year that I'm recording this in. So as you can see, it's fairly straightforward. We also can get more specific. For instance, if you notice over here, there is a date part function, there's a date name function, there's a date diff function, and date add for adding and subtracting days. Let's take a look at, for instance, date part. So if I do date part, and notice the little balloon really helps you. It says what kind of an interval are you looking for. The interval I'm looking for is a weekday, and I'm looking for let's say today's date. And this is going to, interestingly enough, return that this is the 6th day, and that is correct. Today is Friday, so tomorrow would be Saturday, which is the 7th day. If I actually want the text, what I can do is I can do select date name and give it weekday. These are not case sensitive. I'm just mixing them up so you can see that SQL Server really doesn't care about uppercase, lowercase. So there it is. It's Friday for you. Let's go ahead and see about adding a couple of dates. So I'm going to do a select date add, and I'm going to add by intervals of days, 30 days to today's date. And that is going to give me, according to this, it's going to be November 11th, 2022, if I were to add 30 days. Of course, I could do date add. In fact, I will do and put in negative values. Let's go. I'm going to add month as my interval this time and do -7 and get date. And let's see. Well, it says that if you were to subtract 7 months, you're going to be basically in March. We're going to, of course, mix these things. So I can say something like select. Let me actually just copy and paste this. Apologize, wrong key shortcut. If I actually do the same thing, and so I'm basically, this is returning a date, as you can see, so I can put in date name and pass to it weekday. I want to see what weekday it was, and then this date add. Let me just close the last parentheses over here. This should tell us what day was. Well, 7 months ago, if we were to go back, it falls on a Monday. That's basically what it's telling us. So hopefully you see it's very easy to work with dates. SQL Server is quite flexible with your dates. So if I were to do a select, for instance, date name, and let's say weekday. So far, I've been putting in get date. What if you actually have a date? How do you put that in there? Well, you can put it in many different ways. Suppose I want to put in, for instance, 1978 February 01. I can do that. And if I were to do this, then it's going to tell me that was a Wednesday. Well, what if you don't do it this way? What if you say 1978, 02 for February? It's perfectly fine with that. It still says it's a Wednesday. What if I were to do something like February 2nd, 1978, and do that selection? You can see, okay, apparently maybe it wasn't February 2nd, but it came back saying that's actually a Thursday. If I were to do something like, let's say 01-February-78, something like that, it says that's a Wednesday. Apparently it was 01 that I put in there. I mixed up February and the day. That's why it came up as Thursday. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's quite flexible in the formats that you give it. And I suggest you stick to something that is more or less standard that most DBMSs accept. I personally try to stick to, the year hyphen the month, whether it's in this format or a digit format, such as for instance 02, and then the day. To me, this is year, month, days, very clear, and all DBMSs that I know accept that. So I'd suggest that you stick to something like that. But as you can see, SQL Server is quite friendly when it comes to handling your dates. All right, that's it for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're enjoying these, please share with loved ones and friends. And as always, thank you for being a great audience.